Hello.
Hello, welcome. Sorry, I don't know. You know how Sundays are. I'm trying to get, I guess because they're not used to the routine, but I'm trying to get,
That's okay.
yeah. So please just give me a couple minutes and I will be
Take
back.
your time.
Thank you. Okay, I think we will just start. I'm not sure what's happening with the others. Hopefully they'll join us later. Welcome, Laverne. Thank you so much for joining in. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you for joining in. So today is it's our orientation stroke onboarding session. So let's start straight up. I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So welcome to our first class. And I am excited that we are here at cohort 2. Yay! It was quite a run with cohort 1. It was just a few people, kind of like this, actually fewer, but we got through it, and I'm so grateful for the feedback and the reviews, and that just lets me know that okay, you know what, we'll keep at this. It works. So thank you so much. Maybe we will just start. Okay, I'll start first with the breakdown of how it's going to run. Okay, so we have the idea, first of all, is to help people to improve their communication skills. Public speaking is a very high demand, it's an in-demand skill, and it helps us to improve our outlook in terms of connecting with the people we are trying to reach, whether it's in ministry, or it's in business, or it's just in life and relating with people. It's a very useful skill to have. So this is basically the breakdown of how we're going to run it. The first week, we're going to be dealing with mindset. Why? The reason is that the mind is where it all begins, right? If we just start with learning what to do and we start doing the things and our minds have not been fixed, or maybe not fixed, our minds have not been prepared for what it takes or what it's about, then we'll still circle back to what we're used to and we wouldn't really have made progress. So we start with the mindset in week 1, then we move on to the skill set. And then in week 3, we will do practicals because it's a practical skill. It's not something you just learn about, jot notes about, and move on. We have to get it done. It's kind of like swimming. Okay. This is the framework, the AXAB framework that I use the for almost every course around public speaking, because I have courses around overcoming the fear of public speaking, around actual public speaking, different aspects, preparing for a job, etc. But this is basically the framework. It's the awareness, first of all, that we are aware of what our mental state is or what we are struggling with in our minds when it regards this matter of public speaking. Then gaining clarity on what is the message, what are we trying to say, or what are we trying to do, and what qualifies us to be the one to do it. Okay, and then specify your target audience and how you want them to do it. So that's the S, how you want to communicate with them. Then the A is accepting the assignment, because sometimes we're in conflict. Like, I know this is what I should be doing, but I'm struggling. I'm not sure I'm the one to do it, or I don't really feel right. So we want to deal with that and accept it. And then we move on to validating our message. And that's where you have feedback, because feedback is what helps us to know whether what we're doing is effective. One of the things that made me do cohort 2 was the feedback from cohort 1. If cohort 1 did not work for those people, I'm going to be wondering, is it my process? Did I go wrong somewhere? What should I do? And even with their feedback, I was still able to put that in to cohort 2 to improve the quality. And so that's a very important tool for any public speaker. Sorry, one of our people, oh, both of them are calling. 1 minute, please. Hello? Hello, Chika? Yeah, hello. Okay, please go ahead and log in to the Zoom room we're in. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. All right. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay, so it's important that we ask this question, and each of us needs to answer it. What do you want? The reason is public speaking is just a tool. It's not an end, it's a means to an end. So if we take a course like public speaking, or we take a program, or we do something like a boot camp like this, at the end of the day, what are we trying to achieve? So this is a question that I can't answer for you, and you can't answer for me. Each of us has to answer for ourselves. What do you want? Do you want to be able to connect with a particular group of people? For someone in cohort 1, that was her thing. She was passionate about advocacy and about reaching out to people who need to be helped, as well as the people who can help those people. So she needed to be able to communicate with both categories. She's like the middleman, and it's like, I need to be able to let these people know what these other guys are suffering from: poverty, languishing in all kinds of harassment and molestation. I need this to get done. And so that is her own, what she wants, is her answer to this question: what do you want? So each of us needs to answer this question. Welcome, Chika. Thank you so much for joining in. So welcome, Tomi. So this is an important question. What do you want? And so in the course of all of it, I hope we answer. But let me share a bit of my own story. My background is such that, being a firstborn, being a pharmacist, being in different areas, I had been in my youth fellowship. I was the president as a teenager. So I kind of always had that being in front of people, but I never accepted it. Like, I didn't see it as something that was part of me. I saw it as something I had to do, and I would step out and do it and run back to my shell, because I am an introvert, and so even when I started talking with children, started writing children's books, and I would go to schools and I would read to the children. It was something that was like stepping out of myself, doing it, and getting back to my comfort zone. It wasn't something I identified as being a part of who I was. And so if you told me I was a public speaker, I'm like, no, I'm not that person. But it took, in fact, it was a long story, but it took grief to get me to the point where I realized that this was something I needed to embrace. that this was something I needed to do because I wanted to be able to connect with other people and help them in the ways that I had also been helped. And so it started with talking to children, but eventually became talking to adults. Right now, I'm the president of a club in an organization that gives me the opportunity to help other people to find their voices and to speak. And for me, it's a delight that someone who could not express themselves or who was struggling in their minds, thinking they were not good enough or thinking they were not capable, now goes to another flips. It's like, whoa, is this you? And it's always exciting for me to be able to say, is this you? Wow, I can't believe this, And that has been my experience. So it's something I really enjoy. Okay.
But in each one of them, I'll have many other competencies and sub-competencies.
So that's just me training on public speaking in a particular forum. But just to let you know that I have come full circle from where I was hiding from people and would rather not be seen to where I understand that when the Bible says that you are the light of the world, light shines. That's what light does. So stop trying to hide and stop being afraid to be seen, because how does light hide? You can't hide. When light comes, darkness disappears. So everything that is of fear and of timidity and of shyness and shame goes away when light comes. And the more you embrace the light of God in you and the light that you are, the better you become, because it's like you're now in alignment with who you really are instead of running away from yourself. And so that's what my experience has been. So this is just a very brief meeting. I've already expressed, okay, given the breakdown of how this works, right? So I'm going to now go through quickly the outline. I know I've sent it to one or two of you, but give me a minute. Stop the share. Share the thing. Yeah. So this is the basic structure of what we're going to be doing in the next 3 weeks. One of the things that happened with cohort 1 was it was a 30-day program, but I quickly realized that 30 days is kind of a lot. Like, especially because it's kind of hands-on. Every day you have something you have to do. So we shrunk it into 3 weeks, which I think would be more effective because you get a lot done and then you have a break, or and then you can decide in the last week that you want to keep going, and you can keep going with what you have achieved. So I think it's a good idea to shrink it to 3 weeks. In week 1, we're focusing on the mindset. So we're looking at our minds. What are we thinking? What's going on in our minds? What's the current situation? So you have some people who are dealing with fear and they're just intimidated. I can't show myself to anybody. I'm afraid to be seen. It could be because of shame, guilt, usually the fear of public speaking, imposter syndrome. Something is going on in your mind. We want to find out what it is. And more than me finding out what you are dealing with is you finding out what you're dealing with. And so we have what we call the awareness checker, which is a worksheet that you get to use and work on by yourself and figure out. In answering the questions, usually it's quite an eye-opener for each individual to see what it is that you're dealing with in your mind, what your mindset is, and work on it to correct it. The second step is the clarity part. So I had mentioned earlier the ACSAV framework, and C is the clarity part of the framework, where we are now identifying and overcoming limiting beliefs. So we're gaining clarity on, so this is why I think the way I do, or this is what I've actually been thinking, and where is this coming from? Okay, how can I fix this? Okay, and then, so we go through the whole mindset part in week 1. Some of it is activity. So in that impromptu speaking exercise too, you're also starting the practical part, because like I said earlier, public speaking is a practical thing. You can't think public speaking, you have to do public speaking. Or you can't think it alone, you have to do it. In week 2, we will now be dealing with the skill set. So this is where we're now talking about the different skills that we need to use. Everybody can talk. It's kind of like singing, you know, anybody can sing. I used to laugh about how maybe like politicians or people who somehow step into some position can just get up and they're trying to, you know, motivate the crowd and they just open their mouths and start singing. And many times it sounds off key, like, what are you doing? And you want to cringe, you know, it's because they just think, they take for granted that anybody can sing, right? But those who sing know that there's a lot of work involved. Public speaking is a bit like that. There's anybody can talk, but there are better ways to talk and there are more effective ways to communicate. And so we'll deal with some of those just to improve. We already speak, probably do quite well, but these would just help to improve the quality of our output and also our mindsets. The more you are aware of the things you need to look out for, the better you'll be at looking out for them and improving your output. So those are the things we'll be doing in the second week. And then the third week, we go into practicals. Now, this is a virtual space. If it was physical, we would say, okay, let's gather a crowd, let's stand in front of an audience, or let's organize and go for this conference or that conference and go there. But the next best thing is what we're going to do in the virtual space, is that we're going to create those spaces or use the spaces we already have. So that we start with creating videos. Some people are so terrified of even just sitting in front of a camera and knowing that other people are going to watch me like, oh, you know, so we will deal with that and overcome that, put it out there, and then we will, where it ends is with the live engagements online. So we're going to do that either on, if you already have platforms, if you're on Instagram, you're on LinkedIn, of course, I think we're all on LinkedIn. Yeah. You know, if we're all on LinkedIn, we would set this up so that we now engage live with an audience. What that does is it helps you see how does the audience receive me? Because if you record privately in your room, it's just you and the camera, and then you don't have to worry about how other people engage with that. But when you're engaging live with an audience, somebody can say something, ask you a question, respond, react, and we want that to happen because that's what happens on a stage as well. So that is how we do it. And hopefully by the time we're done with that, you're more comfortable and more confident and can take on any stage. That is the way we're going to run it. Now, one more thing I want to point out, we're not going to meet every day. So I recognize also that, like I was talking with Laverne, and I think everybody else is in almost the same time zone. Laverne is not. So the good thing is we don't have Zoom sessions more than, I think we have 5 Zoom sessions, 1, 2, 3, these ones highlighted in yellow, 4 and 5, yes. 5 Zoom sessions, including the graduation ceremony. So what we'll do is we'll have them recorded. This is being recorded. Yeah, this is being recorded, and we'll have each of the sessions recorded so that anyone who's unable to make it for the session will be able to watch the replay. That's one. Secondly, we can actually put it to vote for each of the meetings, what time is most convenient. So it's possible for us to move it. Right now, the meetings are set for 7 p.m. But if anyone has any contrary opinion, or we can actually put it to vote and see the more people, the time that is most convenient for the most people will probably be the one who will work with. But that's what it is for now, for Zoom sessions. All the other ones we'll post on the group. I wanted it to be as flexible as possible because I recognize that people are very busy. So we want a situation where when we put a video on the group, if you're not able to engage at that point when it's posted, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, you're able to, it's still fine. Okay, so that way we can make progress. The point is to make sure each day's assignment is done on that day so that we grow together and go together. Okay, So that is the basic framework. Do we have any questions? I think everybody can unmute. I hope I'm right. I think so. So please, any questions, any comments?
I don't have questions, but I just wanted to say that I'm grateful that I'll still be able to take part in the program in spite of the time zone difference. Because it's something that I know I need the help with. And so when you had the first cohort, I had a whole lot of things going on. I wasn't able to. So just a thought of me not being able to make this one because of the time zone difference was a little bit daunting for me, but I'm glad that you're able to be as flexible to allow all of us to take part. So that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you. And as much as possible, I also want to let you know that I'm going to be available for you to engage with personally. So try and if you have any questions or comments, put them on the group, right? Because other people can benefit from the responses to whatever questions we have. But if there's something that you think may need to be discussed outside of the group, don't hesitate to reach out as well. All right, so thank you so much. Chika, any questions?
No, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be part of this cohort and I hope to, learn and improve on myself.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. I'm happy to have you here too. Okay, so
Thank
I'm going to drop this document that you see on the screen on the group so you can look at it, and then we will start in earnest tomorrow. So you can tick off today, done. Yay. Tomorrow we start in earnest. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and do have a beautiful week ahead.
Thank you.
Right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Michelle, Tommy. Okay.
Thank you. Bye.